Okay, good morning, guys. So I hope that you have mastered the video that I put up last week. That was quite a long one with quite a lot of information, but that video actually incorporates the core of what we're doing this whole term. So if you are on track with that one, you are pretty much on track for the term. We're just fine tuning some of the stuff now so that your performance that you'll do for the exam will be amazing. Okay, so guys, please don't stress too much. Just relax when it comes to accessing Google Classroom and navigating through Google Classroom. You guys tend to ask questions that I have already answered on the platform. So just make sure that you read all the announcements that is posted. Even if you joined later on and you maybe didn't join when the announcements was made, go back and read the announcements that was put up on Google Classroom. Make sure that you know where to access the announcements as well so that you don't ask questions that is actually on the platform and then I have to post a double. So you can just imagine me having to constantly repeat myself on the platform. So on Google Classroom, if you access it and you are on stream. So if you're accessing it on your phone, it will be at the bottom. It says stream, and on your computer, it will be on the top. It says stream classwork people. So where it says stream, there is announcements that I've made. So in those announcements, I explain what you have to do. So the very first announcement was put on the 4th of May. So if you maybe joined recently, you didn't join before or on the 4th of May, just go down and see 4th of May. Then you will see there I have explained what is happening on the platform, your assessment, all those types of things I have explained on there. So you don't have to ask me about that. The questions I really want you to ask me is content questions. If it does happen that you're really confused and you don't know what to do, then ask me a question. That's fine. But first, just make sure that you've read everything on the platform to look for the answer that you might have. Then the second announcement that I've posted is on the 5th of May. So on the 5th of May, there I explained to you how to access the content that has been done. And then when you go to classwork, so that is the next little tab, there I've put the content that you need to work from and the work schedule. So in the work schedule, I've explained that every week I'll post a video. So the video is not a video that you'll watch on YouTube. I originally wanted to put it on YouTube, but I've decided not to do that because to open a YouTube video takes a lot more data than to just open these um, PowerPoint slides with the audio on it. So yes, so the schedule just explains there will be a video per week. So guys, the video might be a little bit long and you'll feel like, how must I listen to an hour long video or an hour and a half long video now and know everything? You have the whole week to master this video. So take turns. If you listen to 20 minutes of the video, next day the next 20 minutes, next day the next 20 minutes, and then the next 20 minutes, within 3 days you would have mastered the video than wanting to watch the whole hour video all at once. Okay, so I do one a week. So I've asked you previously to actually summarize in your workbooks the term 2 section that is in your Platinum Creative Arts textbook that is on Etsy. So please make sure that you've done that before you watch the videos, because that gives you a little bit of a background and then I explain in more detail. And maybe then if you've watched both and you've mastered both, then you can ask questions about the content, something that you might be unsure of. But first, make sure that you've read everything on the Google Classroom platform. If you don't know how to navigate through the Google Classroom platform, there is a video that was posted on all the WhatsApp groups explaining that, and I'll actually load it on this platform as well so that you know what is going on. Then concerning the poetry portfolio task, make sure that you've also read what to do there. And as we go along and as we gain more knowledge, you will be able to actually do that assessment as well. Okay, so just be calm, don't stress too much. The assessment due date will be given to you as soon as we get back to school. So for now, you can work on it. You can actually complete it when we've done all the videos, but then you have it on the side. And when we get back to school, I can just give you a due date and we can do it. And then we can work practically on it in class. Okay, so please, guys, just stay relaxed. Just follow the schedule. Do your video a week and you'll be fine. Okay. So today we're going to look at physical expression and emotional connections. Okay, so physical expression has to do with your body language and more so your facial expression that you use and how you carry your body to convey a certain message. So I always like the little emojis that is put on social media and so on, because those emojis really convey a specific emotion. I don't think anybody is really confused when they look at an emoji to say what feeling or expression they are portraying. Now I know it can be more than one, but still, the essence of that emotion is pretty much the same. If it's happy, sad, surprised, the essence is the same. And then you can find other emotions in there that might stem from the core emotion, which is happiness, sadness, surprise, disgust, and so on. So within one facial expression, you can have hidden other expressions that you might want to show. So this is normal. This is something that you can actually delve into and experiment with. But we'll discuss that now. Okay, so first we're going to look at the physical expressiveness. Okay, so physical expressiveness is exactly what it says. It's a physicality. So it's something physical that you do to express your feelings and emotions to the audience. Now, this is very, very important, especially if we look at poetry. So within poetry, especially if you do a still standing poetry, so you don't do a movement based poetry, you just stand still and you convey the poem message. So within that, you can't really use your body. So the main thing that you have to use is your face. And your face can really tell a million stories. In your voice, it can convey one message. But when your face conveys another, then that is the expression that people are going to relate to. So I don't know if you guys, mostly girls have this problem. Boys, not so much, but some as well. So you want to say something to a friend. And you want to sound as sincere as possible, but your face just doesn't want to play along. Or your friend tells you something and you feel, oh, this is such a silly story. And you try and put on a smile and say, oh, that's very interesting. But your face says something else. You can't hide the emotion of your face. So this often happens in performance. We say one thing, but our face says a different thing. Now, your face, it has to say what you mean. Okay, so your voice doesn't necessarily have to say that, but your facial expression needs to say that. And when we do poetry, especially, our facial expression needs to be exaggerated as well. So, and this goes for all stage acting, actually. On stage, remember, your audience is quite far away from you. And you are quite small in a theatre space. If you think about Covenant College stage, if you have to stand on the stage, how small you are in comparison to the whole stage. Okay, so a small emotion that you show would not read through the audience. So small acting and minute acting and facial expressions is used on TV, because there you can fill a whole TV screen, so they can zoom into a tear that is dripping down your cheek. But on stage, we can't see that. On stage, we can't see one tear dripping down your face as you are standing on stage. The person right at the back will definitely not be able to see that tear. So in that, we have to exaggerate our emotion in order for the audience to read what we are feeling. So if you are feeling happy and you are smiling, you can't just have one side of your mouth kind of tilting upwards in a smile as they do on TV. We can't have that, because that won't be read by the audience. We have to put on a smile that can be seen by the last person in the last row of your audience. So think about it like that. When you guys take your poem that you have to write for the assessment and you have to perform it, every emotion that you want to convey throughout the poem needs to be done in an exaggerated movement or exaggerated expression. So if you want to sound happy, you put on a big smile that is happy. Or when you are sad, your whole face drops, your eyes drop, everything drops so that I can read your emotion from afar. Not close up as we do in TV. Okay, so we are busy with stage live performance here. We're busy with the performance of a poem. So we can't zoom in on any facial expression. Everything needs to be big. Okay, so if you decide, so that is with your face as a whole. But when we get to the physicality of it, the physical movement, using your body as well. So now you decide you want to do a dramatized poem. So you want to dramatize the poem in your body as well. Once again, your movements must be very exaggerated and very big. If you are happy and you want to spread your arms out, you really have to spread your arms out as far as you can. And we must read, the last person in the hall must read your emotion, the physicality that you are taking on. You can't make a small gesture and expect the audience to know what you are doing. No, this is stage acting. It's not TV acting. So don't take TV, because you guys have the tendency to look at TV and to say, I want to do that. But you don't understand that the camera there does most of the work. Okay, in stage acting, we do all of the work. We don't have something to zoom up on. Okay, so I want you at home, you are not shy or scared in front of yourself. So at home, where you are now, I want you to go and look for a mirror. And in the mirror, look at yourself and make exaggerated movements with your face. Okay, so think by yourself, okay, I'm going to show sadness now. And then you show the saddest face that you can possibly show. And you see if you can read it within the mirror. Because sometimes we also think, I look sad now, my face looks sad. But it doesn't really, because your sadness face is so small and intimate that you can't see it, or it can't be read by other people. So if you look in the mirror, it must be very exaggerated. So I'm going to show you just a few examples of facial expressions that are exaggerated. Okay, so if we look at these pictures, this guy is clearly very happy. So when we show expression in our face, don't just think of your mouth, because we tend to focus on our mouths, because in all of these pictures, that is where the attention goes to, is all these people's mouths and how that changes. But if you look at their eyes almost change more than their mouths. So your eyes must read your emotion as well. Some people who scout actors always says emotion lies in the eyes. Okay, so they feel that your eyes and what your eyes say is even more important than the shape and the movement of your mouth. So your eyes must read sad. When we are happy, our eyes almost light up. They stretch out. And when we are sad, it's almost like our eyes become small and they become intimate. Look there when she's surprised. That's clearly a surprised face. Her eyes tell us that she's surprised. Yes, her mouth looks surprised, it's open, but her eyes are even more shocking there. This girl is clearly angry or frustrated. Her eyes narrow, and we can see in her eyes. This guy, because he now has two emotions in one, it's one guy portraying two emotions. We can see how much his eyes also change, and then his mouth. So go to the mirror and make sure, firstly, that your eyes show the emotion. So, for example, happy, and then change your mouth to portray sad or happy. Okay, so kids have a natural ability to show emotion very well because they haven't learned to be shy yet. They haven't learned to hide what they feel because of what society portrays. So they have sincere emotion. It's very easy to see in a child if they are happy, sad, frustrated, angry, or what they are because they haven't built that wall yet. It's sincere acting, or not acting, it's a sincere emotion that they show. And often people say, actors and trainers say that you must delve into your childhood emotions. So that real raw emotion that you felt when you are a child. If you were sad, you were extremely sad and ultimately sad. Your whole life came to an end because your biscuit just fell to the floor. Now that is real emotion. So delve into that. And actually, that's why children make the best actors when they perform as themselves. Children can't act. It's very difficult on any set to have children there because they cannot hide what they feel at that moment. Okay, so it's advantage and disadvantage to work with children in an acting environment, because if it is something that they feel, they really feel, they can portray it very well. But if they have to act, it's not, because they don't know how to lie yet. They don't know how to not be sincere. What they feel is what they feel. But that's why the emotion is so clear and so profound. So in the mirror, go and make a happy face, but different happy faces, because there is, yes, the smiling happy face, but there's also the excited happy face and the happy face and the fake happy face. So go and make those emotions in the mirror. And when you feel sad, there is sad because your dog died, but there's also sad because you are stressed. There is sad because the weather is a little bit down. So there's different types of happy, different types of sad, different types of excited. And in that emotion, make sure that it is the biggest sad emotion or the biggest happy emotion that you can possibly take out of your face. Okay, so yes, that is now the physicality to show your emotion. But even more important than the physicality is the emotional connection that you have to your audience when you feel that. So, outwards, you show your emotion through your body, through your facial expression. But when we convey an emotion, we have to feel the emotion ourselves as well. So when you convey sad, your facial expression shows sad, you must feel the sadness as well. Because the emotional connection is picked up better by your audience than the physical emotion that you portray. Okay, so you might ask, how do I make that emotional connection to the audience? So one of the strategies, and probably the most profound and most used strategies, the most popular strategy of delving into emotion for actors, and you can speak to quite a few actors and they'll tell you this, is they delve into their past experiences. So for example, and this is a very harsh example, but it's something that works. Okay, so if you have lost your dog and you were extremely sad on the day that you lost your dog meant the whole world to you and you lost it. You never forget that emotion that you felt on that day when your dog died. You have extreme sadness. You live that experience of losing your dog. Now you have to portray sadness in a poem or in a piece of work. Then you access that emotional memory. We call it emotional memory. So the memory that you have of how you felt the day your dog died. And it's almost like you remind yourself of that and you relive that experience and that emotion that you felt the day your dog died. And so you feel sad and emotion because now that emotional memory comes back and you're showing it on your face, and so the audience gets that. Similarly to when you are happy. Maybe there was a time in your life that you felt extremely happy. There was one day when you were overwhelmingly happy. For example, a birthday, or you got something, or something happened that you were extremely happy. Then you delve back into that emotional memory and the feelings will come back. And so inwardly, in your emotion, you will feel that emotion again. But even though this is a very successful strategy to use, and this is a strategy used by the majority of um, actors, it is also a very dangerous way to relive emotions, because your emotion sometimes then takes over and you really feel that way. And so your emotions become too real. And now it is no longer acting. You actually feel it. And so people become depressed in this way and become too emotional and sometimes commit suicide like this. So you must be very careful to still distance yourself between what you are really feeling and what you are trying to portray to feel. Make sure that you can still snap out of it and do something to forget now about that feeling that you've accessed. Okay, so if we look at actors that incorporates this type of emotion, firstly, I want to draw your attention to Heath Ledger. So he actually killed himself because he used this strategy. He got too deep within his character, reliving what his character lived, and become so invested in his emotional connection to his character and to his audience that he became the Joker. And in the end, he killed himself because he was so far invested in the emotions of what the Joker felt that he became depressed and committed suicide. You mustn't do that. You must still be able to distance yourself between the emotion that you want the audience to feel and your real emotion and real circumstance at the current moment. Someone that I look up to extremely is Meryl Streep. She has that innate ability to show emotional connection on another level. She's really good, and she's a stage actor as well as a camera actor. So she can change it up into feeling this big and exaggerated emotion on stage to feeling intimate emotions off stage. Okay, so you can see in their facial expression, it's like you can feel what she is feeling because she is feeling what she's feeling. It's not just about her physicality, it's about her emotion deeply as well. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example with this poem. And okay, you guys can only hear my voice now, but I want you to imagine a facial expression that you will give within each line and to exaggerate that by yourself. So when you read through the poem, I'll put the poem up on the platform as well. And when you read the poem and analyze it, I want you to look into a mirror, feel the emotion, but also show it in an exaggerated way with your face. So, your best. If you always try your best, okay, so just in that line, think back on a moment where you really tried your utmost best to succeed in something. If it was academics or sport or um, maybe convincing your parents of something, looking good for them, maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Think of somewhere where you tried your utmost best. Okay? Feel what you felt when you were trying so hard. Feel the emotion that you felt. Delve into that memory. And then say that line and remember that emotion that you felt there must be conveyed physically by your face, but emotionally by yourself. So say that line. If you always try your best, okay, then you'll never have to wonder, okay? So the moral of this is if you try your best, if you put everything into this, you won't have to wonder about the outcome because you've tried your best. About what you could have done. Okay, about what you could have done. Okay, so now I want you to think back on a moment where you did something, but you wished you did something else. So you took on a certain decision, so you made a certain decision to do something. But when you were done with it, you thought back and thought, I shouldn't have done this. This is what I should have done. Or maybe in a fight, this happens constantly in a fight, where you say something afterwards when you now drive home or you get into your bedroom, you thought, oh, I should have done this. And that frustration about thinking, I should have actually done that. Okay. What emotion do you feel there? So we go from feeling the feeling that we felt when we tried our best and how excited we were to that one time when you did something but you actually wanted to do something else. So our emotion changes there, our face will change throughout there. If you'd sum all your thunder, if you'd summon all your thunder, okay, so I want you to think about that moment when you really took out everything. Maybe it was playing a soccer match and you were determined to win. You were determined to score this goal. So you summoned all your thunder, all your emotion, all your physical um physicality and all your hard work that you put it into this one stretch where you scored the goal. That is the type of emotion there that I want you to feel. And if your best was not as good as you hoped it would be, okay, so then you failed. So that time where you really put in everything, maybe it was for a maths test, you studied for weeks on end, and the day you had to write your exam, you blanked. That emotion, that's the type of emotion that you have to delve into here. You still could say, I gave today all that I had in me. Okay, So even though you felt like you had lost miserably, you could still say, but I tried my best. Okay, because maybe at the moment you felt, oh, this is the end of the world, but later on when you thought of it, it wasn't that bad. Okay, so try it with this poem. Maybe you've already written the poem that you wanted to perform for the assessment. Go back to that poem and see what emotions you've gone through. Say the poem for yourself in your mirror. See if your facial expression is exaggerated enough to convey the message. And if your own personal feelings that you're feeling in your heart is conveyed through that physicality. Okay, guys, so this is not something that is easy to do. If you are struggling a little bit, don't worry too much about it. As soon as we get back to class and we can face to face talk to one another, we can convey these messages and I will help you to exaggerate your feelings. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Please, please, please work on this. Take different poems. Go onto the internet and just research poems or research facial expressions and see how exaggerated you can make your face feel and how funny face you can make. Take a photo of it. Laugh at yourself for a moment, but really try and over exaggerate emotions. And when we learn to express emotions, our lives are going to be better as well. When we stop hiding what we feel, we are going to be better people as well because we need to express ourselves. Drama is a space where you can express yourself, and I want you to learn to express yourself because it's very important for other people to know how you feel, and you shouldn't be shy to let other people know how you feel. Okay, guys, have a lovely day. Please try and do this for me. And when we get back to class, I hope you have a lot of questions so that we can discuss your feelings.